This is Bob Ryan, and I'm holding some remarkable photographs that are part of the Leslie Jones collection. Leslie Jones is a name that would be known to some older patrons of Red Sox for his photography over the years, dating back as far back as the 20s and going up through the 40s and perhaps even into the 50s. And we start off with a remarkable photo of Babe Ruth on his back at home plate in Fenway Park, having just been the recipient of a brushback pitch by an unknown Red Sox pitcher. This is a priceless photo because I have never seen a picture of Babe Ruth in such an undignified position on the baseball diamond. Then we've got some photos such as this classic publicity photo of the time with the three players jumping up toward the sky at Fenway Park. The players are Bobby Doerr, Ted Williams, and Dominic DiMaggio. And here's one sitting on a pony, a Shetland pony, I have to say, is Wes Ferrell. Wes Ferrell was, of course, a great player. He's sitting on the Shetland pony, and a player named Fred Frankhouse is got a little camera and he's taking his picture. You say, what was this all about? We have no idea what this was all about. That's part of the fun of this. There was an air of spontaneity. Everything wasn't so serious in those days. Here's one nobody can explain. We don't know who this was, but here's a gentleman doing a headstand on the dugout steps. If only we knew who it was. Maybe someone will see this and say, hey, that's my Uncle Ed. We'll find out. But there it is. Gotta love that one. Hijinks. They just love hijinks, you know, as we like to say in those days. And here's one of some clowning Yankees. Ben Chapman, along with Al Schatt, who was the clown prince of baseball, which is the reason for the hijinks. And they're pretending that Schatt is stealing a base and the other guy's coming with a bat. Players used to do these things. It's hard to imagine today. I can't imagine Albert Pujols taking part in pregame hijinks, but they did it in those days. Here's a wonderful photo of the great Hall of Famer Herb Pennock with his young son. His son's name is Joe. A classic of classics, Babe Ruth with youngsters. This is the image among many that he had, that he cherished. He's sitting here with four boys. They've got the knickers. Oh yeah, it's right out of Our Gang Comedies. It's priceless. Now here's a photo we have of the All-Star game of some players who were in the 36 All-Star game. Well, you know what? That was right here in Braves Field. So that's why we have this photo. We have plenty of photos of Ted Williams, naturally. And he was the single most compelling figure in the history of Red Sox baseball and one of the handful of most compelling figures in the history of baseball, period. Here's a photo that you certainly would never have had privy to in the old days. Ted in the whirlpool. The caption is, he takes the heat. Well, I don't know about that, but Ted in the whirlpool, priceless. Here's Ted with the famous trainer Jack Fadden just getting a little rub down here. Here's a wonderful photo of Ted hitting a grand slam against the Holy Cross varsity team in Worcester. I've seen this photo before. Now, here's a photo that has been circulated, but it's priceless. At Fitton Field in Worcester, Ted Williams hitting a home run in an exhibition game against the Holy Cross Crusaders. Gotta love that. There's a photo of Ted Williams with that familiar, to people who remember him, head cocked down, like almost as if he were embarrassed to run around the bases after he hit a home run. Touching home plate after hitting a home run at Fenway against the Kansas City Athletics of the time in the late 50s. And here's one with Babe Ruth as and one of the few photos, probably extant, of him as a Boston Brave, team with which he finished his career in 1935. A very unhappy, very bad 6 weeks. He hit 181, but of course he had that big bang farewell a few days before he retired. He hit 3 home runs in Pittsburgh as a little reminder of what he had been, but that was the end of it, and he was released. Well, we got one of Babe when he carried off in Fenway. I'm not sure what happened to the Babe, and you can see the old advertisements on the wall in Fenway, which were taken down in 1947, and of course have reappeared in recent years under this regime that are ever vigilant about trying to find a way to make $1 out of this lyric little bandbox of a ballpark. But you don't get too many photos like this of the Babe. Here's just a good baseball photo with the good technique of a St. Louis Brown sliding into third base. And when you look at the slide, you say, what happened to those kind of hook slides? Don't they all go in head first now? Well, the fact is they do go in head first now, which is a bad thing. And here's an old technique of how to slide, a wonderful photo. Here's a priceless photo of a Cleveland Indians runner coming into home plate. He must have been trying to steal because the batter is still standing there. The umpire is very intent. The catcher, though, the key to this one, this is an action photo. Very few action photos. There's plenty of still photos of the legendary Mo Berg. There's one I particularly love, which is a photo of Jimmy Fox sliding back into first base for whatever reason, and Joe Kuehl, who was a great first baseman for the Senators, leaping high to get the throw. And you see one thing that reminds you of how we've changed. The bleachers are practically empty. Just, the Red Sox, as recently as 1965, drew 650,000 people. Wasn't always the way it is today. They were beloved, but people, with day games almost exclusively, people couldn't go to the ballpark. And some of those teams weren't worth watching. We've got another photo of a close play at third base, Red Sox, Yankees, and the hook on this one, and this is an old one. This has got to be the 20s, because the third baseman making the play, A, he doesn't have a number, and numbers weren't introduced until the late 20s, early 30s. B, it's the celebrated Norwood legend, Jumping Joe Dugan. Action photo of Jumpin' Joe Dugan, who many people in Greater Boston came to know personally, and could be seen holding court down in Norwood, but well into the 70s. And finally, just a nice baseball photo at Braves Field, which is worth it in and of itself, of a runner trying to score at home plate. He's left his feet, he's diving, he's got those feet going, he's going in feet first, the way they used to. This is the tip of the iceberg. What we have here. We are told that there are many, many more where these came from, and they're going to be there's going to be great publicity attached to this. You're going to have a chance to see these photos and get these photos. And if you love baseball, this is a real bonus gift for you in the early part of the year 2011.